President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed the National Youth Development Board for the next 3 years, effective from this month. Academic research and public servant Dr. Sunshine Minenhle Myende is the new board chairperson. She holds a PhD in criminology and forensic studies and currently works at the KwaZulu-Natal Social Development Department. She previously held positions in the NYDA and the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, giving her a wealth of experience in governance. She joins us now to tell us more about her appointment and how she plans to advance the plight of young people in South Africa. Dr. Myende, congratulations on your appointment and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much, Katleko. Greetings to yourself and greetings to the viewers.
All right.
To be honest, hi.
Yes, you may continue. Yes, we can hear you, Doctor.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I'm very much humbled and by the appointment by the president. I've always envisioned myself to be part of the NYDA and working towards youth development in South Africa. I've always expected that. But I'm very much humbled by the appointment by the president.
Well, I mean, your CV really does give an extensive show of the work that you've done, especially when it comes to governance and now being appointed as the new chairperson of the NYDA board. Just talk to us about what your immediate priorities for the agency are.
So my immediate priorities of the agency is accessibility, firstly of the agency, and accessibility of information for young people, particularly young people from rural areas and informal settlement. Understanding that young people from rural areas are less privileged in terms of getting information, even access to network or even access to data. So one of the issues that I'm going to be championing as the chairperson of the NYDA is to improve access for young people in terms of access to information and access to jobs. I think the recent statistics indicated that young people are unemployed, of which I'm going to ensure that I improve the livelihood of young people and opportunities for them to access employment and different economic opportunities.
I mean, the agency has over time experienced a number of perceptions given what the individual experiences are, especially for young people, some praising it for the support and the development of employment and entrepreneurship, while others have come in expressing frustration, especially when it comes to the perceived inefficiencies, the lack of tangible results and a limited access to resources, which you're referring to now. In terms of perceptions, what's your take on people referring to the NYDA as a mini ANC youth league?
So I've been asked this question during the interview for the board, and my response was that it's because young people, they have lacked confidence due to lack of information. For example, if you go in for an application, you are looking for a grant. If you're not getting inadequate information and steps on what you need to do, the back and forth that has been happening, that a young person works up, goes to an office, then they are told that there's an outstanding document and they need to come back. Then that has created a lack of trust in the agency for young people. So what we're going to do on that regard is to increase accessibility of the agency. The agency must be found in every municipality, in every ward, in every corner of South Africa. So the minute the agency is accessible to every young person in South Africa, then young people are going to believe and have trust in the organization. But I must say that yesterday we had an engagement with the CEO, understanding the number of applications that the agency is receiving compared to the amount of money that is allocated in terms of grant. It's some of the things that as this incoming board we're going to be championing very wide on. We also intend on meeting the president to raise some of our concerns on that regard so that young people are able to trust the organization because we are able to meet their needs. So those are some of the things that we're going to do. I don't want to comment on the one relating to the NYDA being regarded as an ANC Youth League organization. But what I can assure young people of South Africa is that the young people of South Africa, and this organization is going to save them with humility and dignity. And remember, youth unemployment or any challenges facing young people, they don't have a political cap. It doesn't matter whether you belong to the MKA party, whether you belong to the EFF. If you're unemployed, you're unemployed. If you are suffering from depression, which is one of the social ills that is currently facing young people in South Africa, then you're faced with that. So for me, NYDA is going to and has continuously I try to ensure that they service all young people in South Africa. But this incoming board is definitely going to service all young people, despite their political affiliations and religious or even race, for that matter. That's what I'm going to do as this chairperson.
And how do you plan on going about that? Because it's quite important, maybe just to outline some of the initiatives and the strategies that you believe should be prioritized in addressing these challenges that are faced by young people in South Africa. Like you mentioned, I mean, youth unemployment is quite rife, and that would obviously stand at the fore of what you really should be doing. So talk to us just about the initiatives and the strategies that you're going to go about with this.
So the first initiative is to have partnerships that I'm going to put in place. But already the agency has partnerships with different SETAs, with different organizations, civil society organizations. But I intend on broadening those particular partnerships even to international community, to say, how do we ensure that we bring in enough resources and skills? Remember, even research in terms of how do we improve and address issues faced by young people in South Africa. One of the issues that I also intend on exploring is issues of young people having access to land. As I come from KwaZulu-Natal, we have Ingonyama Trust. So we also intend on speaking to traditional leadership or local leadership to give access to young people in terms of issues of land, so that young people that have intentions of being in the agricultural space, they have the land, because they can say, I have interest of being in agriculture, I want to plow, I want to, but if they don't have land, then we're going to have that particular problem. So those are some of the initiatives and partnerships that I intend on making. And also, maybe I'll be using KwaZulu-Natal as one of the models in what I'm going to do. There's what we call Operation Sukumasake, which is an initiative of government to want to bring together different organizations and different sectors in one room to try address issues. So I want to ensure that the NYDA is able to access those particular platforms to ensure that issues faced by young people at a ward level are able to be escalated to a national level and understand. The other thing that I want to do is to ensure that I'm accountable to all young people. I need to know all the young people in South Africa, where they are, what they're doing. Because currently you understand that there are almost like 3.6 million young people that are not in employment or in any form of education. So I need to ensure that whatever strategies that I'm going to be implementing are relative to what the young people on the ground need. So my main issues are going to be partnership with different private sector, international community, as well as local leadership in respective provinces to ensure that young people have access to land and access to the economy. That's what I'm going to ensure that I do.
And those collaborations are very important. I mean, if you're speaking about land and giving access to young people having to do any entrepreneurial issues on pieces of land, it's also quite important for you to have relations with SETAs and ensuring that there are skills that are transferred to these young people so that they are able to work the land.
Yeah, definitely. The NYDA currently has 12 partnerships or MOUs that we have signed with different SETAs. We intend on ensuring that by the end of our term of office, we'd have signed partnerships with all the SETAs so that there are relevant skills that we're going to employ towards our young people. And the other thing that we're going to do, over time, over years, young people have been told that they don't have the relevant skills. So I think it's high time as a country we agree on what are those relevant skills, so that when young people go into tertiary institutions to go study, they study those relevant skills. We can't be continuously being told that we do not have those relevant skills. Let us come to the table and discuss those relevant skills so that we are able to capacitate young people accordingly to those required or relevant skills. That's one of the areas that we're going to be employing.
And what role do you see the NYDA playing in bridging gaps between government policies and the youth needs?
So the NYDA has something called the Integrated Youth Development Strategy and different policies. So we are going to be coming together and understanding firstly from young people the policy that they want us to take into government. Then after that, we're going to call the different government departments to see how do we collaborate and ensure that youth representation or the youth needs are clearly stipulated in the government policies and operations, even issues of procurement. Yesterday, we were with the Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability, where we were speaking about issues of how do we ensure that the needs of women and needs of youth are clearly stipulated in policies, so that we're not an agency that just screams without any policies that are going to hold government departments accountable to the needs of young people in South Africa.